This week's episode is brought to you by King Julian the 13th, star of the Netflix original series All Hail King Julian from DreamWorks Animation.
Communicore Weekly. Come on and get geeky with Bob around boats and five-legged goats. Communicore Weekly. You might get some freaking. You waited all week. I'm sure you already know that it's the greatest online show.
Hello, and welcome to Communicore Weekly, the greatest online show and home of the world's first pair of independently born identical twins. I'm George.
And I'm Jeff. How you doing today, George?
I don't know, we've had 10 days of heat here in North Carolina.
I don't know that word you refer to.
Man, it's been like 97, 98 degrees. I'm not even wearing a tie to work. It's that hot.
What? Do you get like humidity too?
Yeah, we do get humidity. I got a little dehumidifier in my office, and
Whoa.
we've got like 10 or 12 of them in the library. We, dump the water on outside.
I don't understand any of these terms you're saying any longer. To be quite honest. I mean, granted, it was a little hot over the weekend. It got to like a very warm 89 degrees. But other than that, I mean, we don't have any humidity out here. I dare say it's almost perfect.
Well, I mean, I've been in California at Knott's Berry Farm when we were running from shade spot to shade spot.
Fair enough.
And I had to go with your lovely fiance to some kind of home store to look for fans.
That's true. I do remember. Well, we were also living at a place that did have no,
That's true.
Air circulation or anything. But that'll change when you come out again. I feel like we're talking about the weather a lot. Hello, welcome to Communicore Weather Weekly. Please email us and let us know how the weather is in your hometown. And
Is
we'll
it
report back and listen to the
snowing
show.
where you are?
Oh, if it's snowing, I apologize in advance.
Although some people might like it.
That's true. That's true. Well, enough banter. I think we met our banter quota for this episode, folks. Should we
yes.
start the rest of the show? I'm just going to assume you said yes. Let's go with it.
Hop, step, jump, and skip. We took a trip, and this is our trip.
It is kind of weird that it seems like I've been doing a lot more trip reports.
You've been doing a lot of trip reports compared to me lately, and I'm not sure how I feel about this.
I know. Well, I mean, you're at Disneyland. Well, you go for lunch, you go during your work breaks.
Yeah, but I'm not having trip reports about that.
Yeah. Oh, I went to the park again today and rode something.
Womp womp.
Womp womp. So anyway, couple months ago when we went to Dollywood and the Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge area, we went to the Ripley's Aquarium, and one of the special things that we actually paid for was the Pet a Penguin experience, and it was awesome.
How many penguins did you get to pet? Just one?
Just one, and they don't feel like rubber.
Okay, fair enough.
Surprising. So
Good to know.
I got a media invite to visit the Duke Lemur Center, at Duke University in Durham, North Carolina, to celebrate the birth of two twin girl babies, ringtail lemurs. And they've sort of been sponsored by, officially, the All Hail King Julian Netflix original series, from Madagascar, DreamWorks, that sort of thing. So I thought, a chance to go see really cute baby lemurs. I'm up for it. That sounds like fun. And hey, it was free. I was very excited about that.
Free is always good. Free lemurs, count me in.
Free lemurs, yeah, I'll take two. But so a little bit about the Duke Lemur Center. It is the world's largest lemur center, or area that's got lemurs, basically, outside of Madagascar, basically. So that's got I had a really smart way of saying this, and now it just went out the window. This is one place in the world that has more lemurs than anyone except for the actual country of Madagascar, or the island itself. And lemurs are the most endangered mammal at this point in time.
I did not know that.
We didn't know that either.
The more you know.
Great. You're going to have that graphic go over
Nope,
the top
too
of our
lazy.
heads? Why do we hear that a lot?
I don't know.
Okay.
Probably because it's true.
Okay, so
Sorry, guys.
a little bit about the Duke Lemur Center before we get into the really cute baby lemurs. It is also the only university-based, reading a few notes here, university-based facility dedicated to the preservation and study of prosimian primates, and I did not know that word before. They have over 200 lemurs that represent over 17 different species, and they have over 80 acres of preserved forests, which is kind of neat. And 100 researchers per year study the lemurs at the center and at their center in Madagascar as well. So it's pretty cool. And you can visit the Duke Lemur Center and pay for a small tour, pay for some pretty exciting tours, like you could be a zookeeper for a day and get really close to them. And you can adopt a lemur, and they're so cute. You need to. So
adopt, like take it home, or?
No, we tried.
Oh, okay.
We got in a lot of trouble. No, but you can adopt a lemur, which helps provide for the food and care of the lemur.
Okay.
As well. And so what we did, basically, we were invited for their Lemur Palooza event, which is what they called it. And basically, you could bring as many people as you could pack into a vehicle, and they charged $50 per vehicle. And you could bring a picnic lunch and sit on the grass and enjoy. They had a DJ playing music. They had the Nosh food truck based out of Raleigh. They were providing barbecue sandwiches, so you would have loved it, Jeff. Big giant hamburgers and some vegetarian burgers and stuff like that, some hot dogs.
Nice.
And they were giving tours. Normally, it's a guided tour to the Lemur Center. You pay $12 at a minimum, and a tour guide will take you around and answer questions and talk about it. But this was sort of like a free-range tour. So you basically paid to get in, and they let you walk around.
Free-range lemurs, all right.
Free-range lemurs. And they gave you a scavenger hunt, gave you a list of lemurs that needed to be adopted, and they did not play that Sarah McLachlan song.
That's
because I would have been in trouble. But the $50 that they charge also gave you an adoption for the year as well as admission to the event. So it's kind of nice. They sort of just set you up with that. But the big event of the whole evening was welcoming the two princesses, as they were called. They were actually both called Princess Julian because King Julian from the Madagascar cartoon series proclaimed that it would be his heir. And not that he was disappointed when it was two twin lemurs and they were females. He was still thrilled with it, is what he said anyway. And when we saw them, they were born on May 4th, and they were each about 49 to 58 grams, not kilograms. That's slightly different. And they had about doubled their weight. But so they were about 6 weeks old, and they do call them Princess Julian 1 and Princess Julian 2. And when we saw them, we got to go inside the special enclosure. Still, they were in this cage, we couldn't get near them. But they were with their dad, Randy, who was very protective. He sort of scented the cage in a few specific areas when we got near. And the mother was named Sophia. And basically, the two princesses just clung to their mommy's back the whole time. And they were so cute, so adorable. We had two zookeepers with us named Chris and Stephanie, our handlers, that were able to answer all of our questions, talk about them, give us some inside information. And I was live periscoping the event, or scoping the event. I'm not sure what do the cool kids call it, Jeff?
I'm just going to say periscoping. Just say periscoping.
They don't like scope or anything like that?
No. Scope sounds a little weird. Go with periscoping.
Yeah, so I was periscoping it, and Chris, one of the keepers, actually took my phone into the enclosure and got some amazing close-up footage of all four of the lemurs and a lot of close-up photos of the two princesses. And it just absolutely positively broke my heart. They were so cute.
That's adorable.
So gorgeous, so tiny. And I do have to give a special shout out to the Washington Duke Inn, which is like a golf and conference center located in Durham. They provide a lot of the linens for this. Not that the lemurs sleep on linens, but they provide linens to the Duke Lemur Center that then they use to take care of the pregnant lemurs and the baby lemurs. And they also use it for art projects.
Well, that's kind of cool, actually.
You can pick out 4 colors, and they will let the lemurs finger paint. And you can buy that piece of art from them.
That is actually kind of cool.
Which is really, 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 really nice. But they also provided a red carpet for the evening and 2 little beds for the princesses with matching monogram pillows. And the moment they put the beds in there, Randy came over and was like, I'm scenting these things right now. So I am scenting them, and they are mine. Be gone, everybody. So we got to spend about 45 minutes with the lemurs before the event started, which was awesome. And then they opened up, and people poured in. I know they had well over 150 cars come to the event, so it was a good fundraiser for them. But they let you walk around and take a look at all the different parts of the facility as well. You can go in the nocturnal area, and then you could also see the diurnal, which just means
Interesting.
like day and night, like we're sort of diurnal, as well as look at the what they call the summer tour path, where you basically walk outside and they've got 5 or 6 very large enclosures there with some of the lemurs on display. But they also have about 100 more lemurs, give or take, that are just living in the forest. Just living in the forest. And when you pull in, there's a tall gate with an electric fence on the top.
Interesting.
as
Like
well.
Jurassic Park?
Just like Jurassic Park. So, okay, I didn't know if you were going to make some. Okay.
No, I was just singing a song.
But I did ask the keepers, was there any chance of what happened in Jurassic Park or Jurassic World happening here? And Chris looked at me with all seriousness and said, you know, it could, but we're a lot bigger than the lemurs.
Well done,
And I was
Chris.
like,
Well
awesome. Awesome, fantastic. They did tell us, the lemurs live for about 15 years in the wild, and they can live in the Lemur Center. They can reach the ripe old age of about 30 to 35
Wow.
as well. So they really take good care of them. A lot of the natural predators aren't in the environment, of course. And it was really a fantastic event. And even if you don't get to visit their annual Lemur Palooza for their adoption, if you're in the area and you want to spend some good quality time with some amazing animals, the Duke Lemur Center was very impressive. And they will have the 2 princesses for at least 2 or 3 years before they're decided if they can breed or not, or if they might be shipped off to another zoo or something across the country or across the world. So
Nice.
it's pretty exciting.
Nice.
It was really, really exciting. So thanks to Chris and Stephanie and the Washington Duke Inn and Golf Conference Center and the Duke Lemur Center for inviting us. And before we let you go for the trip report, I did put the Periscope video up on our Patreon page for subscribers. So you can actually see the full 12-minute video, and you will die of cuteness. You really will.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So if you give a chance, go visit the Duke Lemur Center.
He's a nerd, he's a geek, but we all like to hear him speak. So listen up to the words from his beat. It's George's Book of the Week.
Okay, so this is episode 181. Not counting a few shows that we didn't do a book of the week, means I've pretty much reviewed 175 books.
That's a lot.
Which is a lot of books. I don't think we've done any repeating except in a general sense where like I may have done an overview of Disneyland books or Disney World books.
We also do a lot of repeating in the things we say, like, hello, and welcome to Communicore Weekly.
Well, it's in the script, and if we accidentally scroll to the top of the
That's
doc,
true. That's
we
true.
go over the whole thing. So
We also do a lot of repeating, like, hello. Oh, wait, I just said that already. Sorry. Go on.
Anyway, I figured I'd go back over the next whole bunch of episodes of In Between New Books and look at some older titles that are classic that everybody needs to. That way you don't have to go back and listen to every episode. Go back and download them. You just don't have to listen to them.
I got an idea really quick before you go on.
Yeah.
Classic Book of the Week. All right, go.
Okay.
That was a
anyway,
new bumper.
Wow, yeah, we're going to save a lot of money on royalties to Andy and Steve with that one.
Yep.
So I'm going back to the very first book that we covered on episode number 1 of Communicore Weekly, which is the awesome book, Since the World Began, Walt Disney World, The First 25 Years, by Jeff Curdy. And it's been 4 years since we looked at this book. Not much has changed with the book, but I still think it's one of those essential books. And as I've said before a couple times on the show, that a lot of people will ask me questions, email me, they'll call us in the Communicore Weekly Hotline, ask the Facebook page. They want books on the construction of Walt Disney World or stuff about the history, and there's really not much about it. And Since the World Began, looking, of course, at the first 25 years, so it basically covers 1971 to 1996, when I have to count on my fingers, is one of the great places to get that initial history of Walt Disney World. It did coincide, the release in 96, with the celebration of the 25th anniversary of Walt Disney World with that amazing Pepto-Bismol cake castle. It was kind of neat to see it once, and then it was like, okay, I'm done. But there's not really been a lot of real official Walt Disney World history books besides some of the souvenir guides, but nothing that really talks about everything that happened up until 1996, like this book. So a little bit about Mr. Jeff Kurdy. He is a very prolific author. He's written a lot about Disney. He's worked for the Walt Disney Family Museum. He's worked for Imagineering. He's worked for the Walt Disney Company. And he's done various production companies. If you watch a lot of the Blu-ray and the DVDs, you'll see specials that were produced by Curdy Pellegrini. He produced a lot of the DVD bonus content. But he's also written some of the most awesome books, like The Art of Disneyland, The Art of Walt Disney World, Walt Disney Imagineering Legends, Disney Dossiers about great movie musical trivia, and an introduction to Disney theater, and a couple other art of books as well. So Jeff Kurdy knows his stuff. And this is one of my favorite books. I really do like this one. And there's a great quote from Kurdy in the introduction that says, "That's where this book begins. How did a Central Florida swamp become the #1 family destination in the world? Whose idea was it? Who built it? Why did they build it there? What were the events and who were the people that inspired its ideas, design, topography, attractions, landscaping, resorts, its very existence? What has this come to mean? What is it going to become?" End quote. So basically, Kurdy spends the rest of the book answering these questions, as well as a lot more that you didn't even know you had. The book, of course, it's sort of in a semi-chronological order. He divides the history in the book based on the major developments of the Vacation Kingdom. You know, like the Magic Kingdom, then Epcot Center, the rest of the world. Future developments is even covered, and we can do a check mark of what got built and what didn't. He starts with, a look at Walt Disney like you'd expect, and his dream for the Florida project. And it really talks about the importance of the 64-65 New York World's Fair, which everybody knows how important that was because we've covered that. And, he does this little thing where they present these little side notes, and that's sort of like where the fair is covered, some of the transportation, some of the resorts are covered. And it's just a great little call-out section to give you a little bit of extra information about the book. It even talks about like the Reedy Creek Improvement District and some of the other things that you'll find there. And, after Walt's passing in the book, Kurdy, not Jeff Heimbuch, but Jeff Kurdy, looks at the major players and how the resort came to be. And each section of the book, Kurdy takes a detailed look at all the construction and the growth of the theme parks, and he adds concept drawings, there are paintings, there are some photographs of attractions never built, and some that are gone and, we wish they were here. And Kurdy really does a great job of keeping that historical detail, adding anecdotes that will charm any Disney fan, basically of any level. And it's obvious that Kurdy's very passionate about the Vacation Kingdom and all Disney parks. So lots of full color photographs, lots of great historical details with the book. And, Since the World Began really offers the one singular look at the development of the three major theme parks. More than a dozen hotels, all the ancillary services, all the behind-the-scenes secrets. And you're not going to find any other book that really distills all this information in one place. I've heard some complaints that it is a thin volume. I was going to flip to the end. I was like, talk amongst yourself while I do this. It does come in at barely 190 pages. So that's not a lot when you're talking about all those square miles that they're covering, all the theme parks. But Jeff Kurdy does a great job of distilling this first 25 years of the resort into a very moving and enveloping work. He's talked to Imagineers, he talked to people that worked on various projects. We see how the project started, how they grew and became fully realized attractions, theme parks, restaurants, and everything. And some of course, is going to be commonplace for a lot of Disney enthusiasts, but it's also good to look at this because it reminds us how it all started. Just like Communicore Weekly.
Just like Communicore Weekly.
Just like us. I was wondering when the chapter on us was going to be until I realized this was a few years before we started. Just in case.
Tough but fair.
Yes, tough but fair. I do think this is a great book that needs to be in every Disney fan's collection, especially if you love Disney World. It looks at a history that you won't find in a lot of other places, and it gives you a great starting off point for, looking at the next 15 years that we've experienced since this book was written. And, fingers crossed that they'll tap Jeff Kurdy, or Jeff and George, either one of us, to write the 50th anniversary that's coming up in 2021. We need to work on that quickly.
Let's start that petition now.
I think we're done. So this week's book is Since the World Began from 1996 by Jeff Curdy. Highly recommended.
If it's a legend that you seek, come on and take a peek at the window of the week.
This week's window is located at the Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World, and it reads, Rainbow Paint Company, Polychromatics, Lonnie R. Lindley, world's largest collection of color samples. Now, Lonnie actually started his career at Disney by selling guidebooks at Disneyland. And by 1963, he was working in the parts warehouse assisting the maintenance department. And eventually, Lonnie met Walt while working on a painting project for the Plaza Inn. And when a painter couldn't get it right, Walt asked Lonnie to do it. And from there, Lonnie became known for having a keen eye for color. In 1970, he actually transferred to Florida and was soon overseeing all the paint operations at Walt Disney World. And after serving as superintendent for the paint and sign shops, he moved to the ride and show engineering in 1998, where he worked until he retired in 2007.
Sometimes you might see it, sometimes you don't. Hey, look, what's that? It's a five-legged goat.
In a past episode of Communicore Weekly, we've covered the old-fashioned crank phones located all around the Disney theme parks. You know, the ones that you pick up and you hear the party line, and sometimes they yell at you because you're listening to a conversation that you shouldn't be listening to, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I thought it was that cranks use them. Like
Yes, yeah,
angry
cranks use
people.
these. That's what they're called, crank phones, George. That's history. How do you even history, bro? Anyway,
Gotcha.
so there is another phone like it in the Magic Shop at Disneyland, but it's a little bit different. When you pick it up, you can actually hear Harry Houdini himself, the master magician, offering $1,000 to anyone who can prove he can breathe during one of his underwater escape acts. Now, don't, take this to heart. You can't actually get the $1,000 anymore because he's long since dead. But
Oh, okay.
I know you're trying to. You're like the
Yeah.
wheels were turning. I already heard it from
Yeah.
over here. This is actually an actual recording of Houdini, and it was donated by the David Copperfield's International Museum and Library of the Conjuring Arts. So pick it up next time you're there and hear one of the greatest magicians of all time issuing this challenge, and just be amazed that it's his actual voice. That's kind of cool that Disney put that in there.
So if you get to visit David Copperfield's International Museum and Library of the Conjuring Arts, when you walk in as a reference librarian, hold his fingers up to his head or her head and go, you want this book. And
That
it's
is
right
actually
over here. And they use ESPN to figure out what book you want before you even ask them. And
ESPN, George. That's way
stuff
to
like
tie
that.
it back to Disney.
Yeah,
Using
yeah,
ESPN.
exactly. Because we get market share or something, don't we?
Okay, keep telling yourself that.
Because of sports or something.
Yeah, because sports.
Yeah, I have no idea. Well, I was going to tie this very nicely into pulling a magic thing out of a hat to pick the year of a million or so limited time cadets prize winner
Way to
this
mess
week.
that one up, Job.
But hey, no, it's you brought up the ESPN thing.
No, you did.
Yeah, but you didn't have to re-bring it up. Oh no, we do that according to the book show.
That's right. We're reviewing or repeating things.
We repeat our things fairly often. Okay, so in case you guys haven't listened to an episode before, or you usually stop it before this point, we do the year of or so. We've been doing the year of a million or so limited time cadets since January, so we got about 6 more months to go. Every week we're giving away a fantastic prize to a usually one lucky cadet. This week we're giving away 3 prizes to 3 lucky cadets. We're very excited. You can enter the contest too by emailing communicoreweekly@gmail.com, giving us your name, your postal address so we can mail you your prize, and we want your birthday because we're mailing out really cool birthday cards to everybody. And this week's prize, we've got these really cool King Julian shirts that we mentioned from the sponsor at the top of the show, from the DreamWorks Animation Netflix show, All Hail King Julian. We've got 3 t-shirts we're sending out, and our 3 lucky prize winners are Camille F. from Newburgh, Oregon, Brandy E. from Kingsport, Tennessee, and Tom H. from Sellersburg, Indiana.
Hooray!
Yay. We're very excited. You guys should get those t-shirts very soon in the mail and take photos and send them to us.
Wearing the t-shirts.
Yeah. Or using the t-shirts to clean around your house.
Yeah, whatever.
Or something else. I mean, whatever you want to do with the t-shirts.
Hey, it's your t-shirt now. We're not judging what you're going to do with the t-shirt.
That's fine.
We can to wrap your baby lemur up. I mean, no big deal.
Baby lemurs are so cute.
I kind of want one now. I'm not going to lie.
So adorable. So adorable.
Lemur Weekly.
Yeah, we could do
Lemur
that.
Care Weekly, actually.
Oh, see, Lemur Care Weekly would be like the daycare that we set up.
That's true. That would be. Man, we are just spitballing all these great business ideas right now, you guys. It's so good.
I'm not sure if we're qualified to take care of baby lemurs.
I'm qualified to take care of baby lemurs because I said so.
Oh, because of the facial hair?
Yep.
Like, you look like a daddy lemur.
Exactly, and they're going to say
was like
same thing.
Lemur voice. That was not a good lemur voice. Not at all. They actually sort of chirp, which is neat.
Oh, interesting. Like birds?
Yeah, sort of like that. It sounds like a squeaky chirp.
Weird.
Wow, weird. So, speaking of weird, we made it
squeaky chirps.
the end of another episode of Communicore Weekly, and thank you guys so much for watching and listening to us.
We very much appreciate it. If you don't mind, leave us a rating on iTunes, one of those famous 9-star ratings, if you don't mind. Or if you watch the video version of the show, leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes, lots of comments. As we mentioned, email us at communicoreweekly@gmail.com just to say, hey, sup, Corey.
I was going to say, you better say sup, Corey. That's part of the contractual obligation.
I know we have to.
Also, you can like us on the Facebook at facebook.com/Communicore Weekly.
And follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And find out when we're periscoping.
Exactly.
As we are both periscoping. I'm at Imaginerding. He's at Jeff Heimbuck.
And of course, give us a call on the Communicore Weekly Goat line at 424-785-4628.
Yes, and make sure you visit the Communa store on our website, which is communicoreweekly.com, and get some awesome t-shirts and pick up your copy of Communicore Weekly, the musical.
And of course, if you want your official cadet membership card and some Communicore Weekly stickers and maybe a button, send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Communicore Weekly, P.O. Box 432, Orange, California 92856.
And as we mentioned in the trip report, I did upload a special video of the baby lemurs to our patreon.com page. So just visit patreon.com/Communicore Weekly to see it. For Jeff Heimbuck, I'm George Taylor.
And for George Taylor, I'm Jeff Heimbuck. Thanks so much for listening, guys and gals. We'll see you next time on Communicore Weekly, the greatest and most lemur-filled online show.
Duck toy.